live here for the Dunder Mifflin. Yep, that's already a thing. Well, Adam, get out of context ready. No, the Dunder Mifflin Server 100. Boy, am I gonna have fun pronouncing that all night. I never watched the show. I never did. Well, I watched a couple episodes, and then I was like, yep, this is lame. So I never really watched it. But anyway, I'm Josh Coppernell. I'm joined by Adam Kuhn. Adam, other than my incredible big mistake here just going live, how are you doing?
Gonna completely ignore everything with that open. Good evening, Josh. I'm doing well. Excited to be back in the booth here with you for this 3-Wide Racing League special series here, and we're gonna see a show probably like what we're seeing right now on the front straightaway. If anything, last week is to base off of, and this practice session, of course, because a lot of momentum here in the 3-Wide series, just only a weekend, Josh, and a lot to talk about after last week's finish.
Yeah, I mean, that was so crazy last week at Auto Club. I mean, these guys were racing like they were at Daytona or Talladega with a NASCAR stock car or truck. I mean, it was insane, and that's not the case. This is the Toyota GR86s. We're here on dirt tonight, but, you know, going back to Auto Club, just what a race we had last week.
Yeah, Josh, it was, like you mentioned, it really was like a super speedway event. With these really early road racing level cars, putting them on that big oval like that, was expected to see some kind of all-out, flat-out type of racing, but I didn't really expect it to persist all race long. You and I both kind of talked about the tire wear throughout the event, and it really didn't come into play too often throughout that race, and that was really great to see it just be a battle down to the end.
Yeah, the race was chaotic. Tire wear did not come into play like I thought it was going to. I mean, just... And the guys, I mean, these guys were 3-4 wide at times, and we only had just a couple of cautions. So a lot of drivers still in it at the end, and 3-wide finish, coming to the checkered flag. It was way past what I thought that these cars were capable of, and now we're going to see what these cars can do on dirt.
Yeah, Josh, first dirt race of the season. I think this is really going to be an interesting one. Lernerville is a great track for sprint cars, and usually annual stop for a bunch of different tours, and this is going to be something I don't think they've had raced there before with these, like I mentioned before, road racing cars. I think just having these GR86s, like you mentioned, just running at totally variety different types of racetracks throughout this season is going to be so much fun beyond what we saw last week. Just different types of racing, and tonight totally different type of racing with all the different lines we see here. And one thing that's going to be very important tonight when we get into the race, Josh, you and I both have noticed this a lot already. Something I knew going in, at least, there is no outside wall here other than turn 4 and the front straightaway, so it could be a little hairy when we have accidents outside of those areas.
Yeah, and I know a lot of times a wall could help me stay on track. Well, you're not going to have a wall to help you stay on track tonight. You know, as you mentioned, no wall back there. And these guys, we've already seen some gnarly crashes in practice with drivers going over that berm, flipping down there. Anything can happen And poor Brady Smith here, from what I've noticed, has found the roof of his car quite a bit.
In the background, there were 3 cars at least just bombed turn 4 and either went over that berm or got really close to going over there into that guardrail that's off there. Another thing that's interesting about this track, Josh, you mentioned this to me when we got into this sim tonight, the pit lane area tonight. Well, I don't think we're going to see it in the race. Hopefully not. I think we should have enough laps in the race where it won't be an issue. That is pitting, of course, and I should say few enough laps. But Josh, here we see it. It's disconnected from the rest of the track, and it's outside of it.
Let's take a right here, alright? This is what it's like. And right there. Just that hard, I guess, berm going right down that onto the racetrack. I was messing around in practice a little bit. Actually, I've never loaded into Lernerville on the sim before. I didn't even have Lernerville on iRacing before today. And it dawned on me earlier this morning while I was at work that I should probably check. And glad I did, because I was able to get it. And then I knew I needed to do some homework. And I wanted to take a couple laps myself. So I did. And I was so confused. First of all, these cars have 6 gears. I don't think any driver is going to use 3 or 6. Unless if they can get in third and I was just doing it wrong, which is a possibility. But if anything, you're not going to get into 4th gear or higher. This track is only 0.4 of a mile long. And with the big dirt, it slows down the car quite a bit as well. I just, I don't think they're going to get high into gears, but I'll tell you what, these drivers, they've got a handful. If you don't know anything about dirt, some of these drivers, not dirt drivers, I'm sure, they've got a long 100 laps on their hands. Quite honestly, I'm glad I'm not out there on track, because I would be probably 14th in practice right now behind Dallas Myhand.
Yeah, I mentioned at the end of last week's broadcast that I really would have loved to be out on the racetrack with them last week at Fontana, being in that mess. And that's why I wouldn't want to be out on the track with them today, because I would do that quite a lot, well, at least once in the race, and then I might be done. But right there's a good look of what's outside the racetrack there. Just grass for a little bit, and then just a little bit of fencing there before you get to a row of trees. So I don't think we're going to be seeing a lot of that in the main event here tonight, Josh. Hopefully, at least, because I think that's going to end your night if you end up out there.
Yeah, I can imagine if you go flipping out there, then it will end your night pretty quickly, especially if you have to tow back to pit road. So, right now it is Matt Gruenberg, who is top of the practice charts with 18.419. Carlos Acosta is... Well, there goes Dallas Myhand again. Carlos Acosta is 6/1000th of a second off of him. Last week, we were talking to Carlos. He said that he was pretty excited to come to this track, and Okay, well, while I'm figuring something out here. Adam, tell us who your pick to win is.
Well, Josh, it's going to be probably not, yeah, probably as big of a lottery as it was last week when it comes to making a pick for this win. A lot of names stuck out to me watching this practice session. One guy who was just who looked pretty consistent and moved up the board in this session. I'm going to go with Kolb, who is now in that third position on the leaderboard. Didn't race last week at Fontana, but trying to make good impressions this week, as we see. Oh my goodness. Almost a huge wreck in the background here, Josh.
Okay, well, the fans did not see that. But
it was distracting me. I'm sorry.
I just
it was pretty spectacular to watch.
Here you guys go with what Adam was just reacting to. He went flying. And he'd probably still be going if it wasn't for that wall down there. Well, I am going to go with Carlos as my pick to win. And I started to say, as we were running into issues, and I apologize for that. I don't know what was going on, but I was trying to figure something out there. Hopefully it's a little bit better, but I'm going to go with Carlos. And as I was saying, he said he was pretty excited for this race. In practice, he was among the fastest. He said that Grunberg was probably the one to watch out for. But I think he knows what he has to do. He was really close to Grunberg, and oh yeah, he's starting P1. And speaking of, quickly look at the starting lineup. It is Carlos Acosta P1, Brent Miller, Dallas Mahan, Trevor Butler. Here we go. Jordan McGevoy, P5. Matt Grunberg, 6th. Brady Smith, 7th. Race Clark will start 8th. Corey Shellman, 9th. 10th is Nathan Young, Justin Cole, Corey Lindsay, and James Miller. Round out the 13 drivers tonight. So we're getting ready. 100 laps around Lernerville. Base truck is in. Green flag is out, and we're underway here at Lernerville. Carlos, he is already so far out there, but look at Gruenberg. He made moves happen quickly. 3 wide on the outside, up to P2 now.
Yeah, a bunch of different approaches into turn 1, both laps so far, and it has really split these top 2 apart from the rest of the field, like you mentioned, Josh. And of course, no qualifying here in the 3-Rock series, just a random draw to determine the starting lineup, like that you went through, Josh. And pretty dynamic start here with these 2 that you mentioned on that grid. Looking very forward to this race here this week. Just getting away from the rest of the field early on. This could be a long night for the rest of these other 9 competitors, like you mentioned, having issues on the dirt, and issues for Young in the 6, already off on the other side of the berm, Josh, but he's back going here, but 11 seconds behind the leader.
Right here's battle between Butler and Lindsay for 10th. Oh, we've got trouble. Race leader, Carlos Acosta.
Bloomberg had
Oh,
caught him,
man.
and he just, the right rear, Josh, just dipped outside of the track there, it looked like, right?
I'm thinking that's what happened. He just got right over that berm.
And that was a big hit.
So Gruenberg takes the lead. We stay green. Costa's off the racing surface. And no caution as a result. Back here, Butler and Miller. Butler. He backed out of it. Justin Kolb underneath Race Clark. Race Clark going to maintain the position of 3rd. Miller.
Yeah, Justin Kolb now. Yeah, Josh, Kolb going to fall back a spot to 5th.
Miller over that berm. He got a better end of things.
Yeah, it was a good save. See how he re-enters the track there right in front of Dallas Mayan. Did a good job there in 2 and 3.
Still up on that berm.
This is what we saw a lot of in practice, Josh, and now that we are in the main event here, in the feature 100 laps, they're doing this over and over, and so far no caution. Oh, big hit! There's that caution. Mayan comes to a stop there in turn 4, and he is beached right now. Gonna somehow get the momentum going. Catch the wall though, I think, again. Here on the JCTV replay, Josh. That's Mayan entering turn 3.
Well, his car just wouldn't turn off of 4. This is a result. Trying to get it down pit road.
That's one way to find your way there. Obviously, damage there after that hit to the wall. You mentioned Josh, and luckily he's got this caution to able to get some of it fixed, but it's going to be a really long night for Dallas Mayan if he continues on.
So we'll be right back. Alright. Hopefully that fixes things. Green flag back in the air, and great restart for Gruenberg.
Brady Smith with a bunch of wheel spin, it looked like, on the inside, Josh. He's going to be under attack from Clark on the outside. Miller dive into the inside. It's going to be almost 3 wide here. Race Clark with the momentum into turn 3 there on the outside lane, Josh.
These guys, they are racing for every position they can. Look, Shellman. Right in front of Butler.
Big fish too, able to get in the line.
Miller.
He wants Miller in the wall.
See what happened to Miller here. Oh, same thing, just got the right rear. Off the racetrack, up that berm, and he had a front wall right in front of him. Or a pit. I need a new tire.
There's a guardrail there. See the damage. Oh! To the 09 of James Miller trying to, I guess, just get around the racetrack. I don't think he's been onto pit road yet. And you see on the ticker on the left side of your screen the other Miller in this race, Brent Miller. He is already retired from the race. He went out last caution, came out on pit road same time as Dallas Mahan. They both disconnected.
So we are 1-2 green. Base truck is going to enter pit road. And Grunberg on the outside, green flag back in the air. Oh goodness, Butler.
Saw that also a lot in practice, Josh, just popping that wall at the end of the straightaway. Just trying to get a good angle to turn 1, just get a little too close. Here we see Shellman diving to turn 3. He's going to have Miller on his inside. Oh, trouble ahead. Butler's going to lose it, saves it. Went a little too wide there into turn 4, was able to keep the car from out of the wall, it looked like, Josh, and Travis Butler did a good job there. He's going to lose a lot of positions, though. Here comes Corey Lindsay taking advantage of it.
Outside, Nathan Young trying to get around as well. Butler losing a ton of positions.
Yeah, Trevor's just going to go to the top now, finally get back in the right line here for Butler and try and get some momentum going his way after being stuck on the bottom there. See the issue behind him with Young, or Lindsay, excuse me. Not sure what happened to Corey Lindsay. He was a position ahead. Sorry, Josh. Got this battle for second you mentioned. 3 cars right under a blanket here.
Clark just lost a couple positions to Smith and oh my goodness!
Somehow he's still wheeling that thing, Josh. That could have been a big one like we saw in the practice session. Justin Kolb with a big save there. You mentioned he was losing positions, just trying to regroup after what had happened there, battling Race Clark, and now he's losing more positions after that big moment in turn 1 last time by, but still somehow racing after that big save running in the 5th position, but he's 7 seconds back now, Josh.
And you know, Carlos is watching this and saying, why couldn't have that happened to me?
Yeah, I'm sure he is wishing that for sure right now.
Oh, Kolb off the track again.
This time he exited the track at the entrance of the corner, so he's able to slow it down a lot easier there and not have a huge dramatic moment. But see here, he's gonna lose a lap here pretty quickly, but issues more. Young and Lindsay have lost a lap, and Young in that guardrail again on that front straightaway, Josh, and he is just really wide here through 1 and 2.
More trouble. Race Clark off the racetrack.
From the 3rd position, maybe the 2nd position actually, Josh, because Brady Smith's now moved into 2nd, Miller up to 3rd. This is just going to be an endurance race. Josh, we have a caution on the track, though.
Couldn't tell who it was from. I think it might have been Young.
Yeah, I don't think so either. As we look at these replays, Josh, looks like he was just off the track the entire time here. Maybe caught the wall on the front stretch, but I don't think that'd be enough to warrant a yellow. We see a little bit of what happened to Race Clark here in the background of this. Don't think this would have warranted the yellow either. We saw Clark lose off his spots about a lap before the caution flew.
So Nathan Young is in pit road, and I'm wondering if it's just because he was slow here. Right there.
That would be in the racing line, yeah. And there you see the yellow waving. Well, Matt Grunberg's got to do it again. Brady Smith back to the bottom. We've seen that bottom. All the restarts so far, Josh, just have terrible traction getting going off of turn 4 here.
Yeah, gonna be interesting. See if Smith can hold on this time. As green flag is not waving.
Man, they're killing us with the suspense. I was all ready for that.
With Pace Truck. Had to go all the way through pit road. And just now entering turn 1.
Only to pull right back off from the looks, yep.
So here we go. Green flag is in the air now. 66 laps to go, and Smith losing a couple of positions. Cole, I think he was happy for that caution. He was able to get back to 3rd place as a result on that restart.
That was a good regroup for him to be able to calm down for a few minutes, get some laps under his belt at a lot slower than the normal pace, and just try and rethink about what he did, the mistakes he cost himself. And on that restart, Josh, you mentioned Brady Smith with a big time at getting going again, and James Miller all over the back of him the entire front straightaway. He got around him pretty quickly into turn 1, and he
Smith and Shellman battling for the 5th position.
Oh, trouble, Justin Kolb on pit road. He must have had a big moment, Josh, because he has just towed. Ooh, as we pull up this JCTV replay, he had a moment going back to the blimp here, Josh.
Oh, good. Oh, my.
Those would have been great seats to get a view of that. Would have been scary, but...
Better to have those seats for that flip than having the tire at Heat 500 flying at you. So 8 drivers still on track. Grunberg has led all of the laps since Carlos Acosta had his issues early. Right now, Shellman struggling. He's going to have Butler peaking. Shellman able to gather it back up. Nathan Young about to go fifth lap down. He actually did go a fifth lap down.
Trouble for Race Clark. He has dropped from second to fourth. He's on pit road. Running in the second position, he was about 5 seconds behind Gruenberg, and now Gruenberg has really no pressure out back. 7.5 seconds over James Miller at the time as we look at this replay, Josh. Pop the berm in turn 4. Caught the guardrail a couple times. I don't think it ended there. Ended up entering pit lane. And he stayed there. I guess that was it. He just decided that was enough. I mentioned Nathan Young losing laps. He just re-entered pit lane. Not sure if there was another moment there, but kind of in 8th place. I'm not going to try and seek 7th for the time being on Race Clark. See him entering his pit box right there.
Take a look to see if something happened to him.
Looks like the same thing, Josh. That was a big hit with the right front of that car into that guardrail, Josh.
And proceeded to take a ride outside of the racing surface.
Oh, something with James Miller now, live on the track. He was in second, the closest combatant to Gruenberg, and he has just dropped to third and lost 4 seconds in the process. Maybe racing lap car of Corey Lindsay there. Saw he was right next to him on the racetrack.
Talk about domination here. Carlos told me that Gruenberg was one to watch out for. 4 cars are on the lead lap right now. And give me just a second. It'll be 3. And not long after that, it'll be only 1 car on the lead lap. And Miller having issues. Miller and Butler side by side right in front of Gruenberg. Oh,
Everybody on the bottom.
grief!
Oh my goodness! How do you keep that thing on the wheels? What?
Now he's about to try to pass Gruenberg back. Butler does not want to lose the lap here.
I was about to say on the bottom wasn't going to work out for him, but he shot straight to the top and then some. That was... I didn't really see all of it, Josh. I don't know how in the world he ended back up on the wheels. We might have to take a look back at that later on, but right now, I guess, this was a great move on the bottom of the track. Was trying to continue and race James Miller and slide up right in front of Gruenberg. Maybe a little bit too much right steer into that.
Here we go. Here's what happened. That was the slide. That was the hit on the berm.
And I thought he was going over when I saw that.
I think Butler just kept his foot in it.
He's continuing to keep his foot in, barely ahead of the race leader still. James Miller has gone down a lap, so Butler has moved on to a podium position right now. Just as I say that, there you see Gruenberg flying by that 12 car on the outside. And a big slide with those rear wheels again down the front straightaway for Butler. Now he's going to be in this heated battle for Miller for the last position on the podium here, Josh.
position over Butler. Butler still sliding.
Oh. Miller slid a lot there too off of turn 4.
Oh, Miller with trouble. I was just gonna say there was trouble between Shellman and Lindsay.
Yeah, but yeah, James Miller just slid right off the racetrack at the same time. There you see Shellman re-entering the racetrack, trying to get out of the way. I assume he's gonna maybe spin it again here. No, just getting the good line into turn 1. Well, yeah, Josh Miller just slid right off the racetrack at the other end of the circuit, but continues on. As you pull up the JCTV replay for what happened here to Shellman. Down in turn 4, right ahead of Corey Lindsay, almost lost it there with the rear end.
So I think it was trouble with Shellman and Lindsay at the same time. Okay, there goes Shellman. And there goes Lindsay.
Just too much speed. Yeah, and even might have followed him right in, Josh. Wow, you are right. And there you see, I'm just trying to re-enter the track after that. And then on the other side,
wow.
Josh, that looks like 3 guys doing the same exact thing at 3 different points.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, that was a ride, re-entering. Well, he hasn't re-entered yet, I shouldn't say that. I don't know how he didn't lose another lap in that.
So now 2 drivers on the lead lap. Gruber in first, who's exiting 2. And Brady Smith, who's on the start-finish line now. And to put that in perspective, start-finish line now for Gruber.
Yeah, Grunberg's just going to want to get to the rear of Smith, put him a lap down, and then he doesn't really care what happens after that. He just wants to say he lapped the whole field at least once, I would assume. And
I already know what it is for. Nathan Young was coming off of pit road, was waiting for a safe time to enter onto the track, and iRacing probably assumed that he was on the track, stopped, and it threw a caution.
Well, that is really unfortunate circumstance there for everyone involved, especially Grunberg, whose 12-second lead, Josh, is now squat. Mentioned earlier when Young entered pit road, he's now gone down 20 more laps since that last pit stop, so just wanted to get back out there, put some laps together, maybe pass Race Clark, and unfortunately he has unintentionally changed the outcome of this race just by trying to not get involved in it. And I think he's been removed, Josh. Or at least left, because I just saw him disappear.
That is unfortunate. Speller is going to get back on the lead lap. Smith is going to restart underneath Gruenberg. See Butler there in the background catching back up in the field. 6 cars still on track, 3 on the lead lap. Green flag is back out. Gruenberg already doing what he's been doing all race long, and that's pulling away from the rest of the field.
And that start Brady Smith had is exactly what Gruenberg wanted. Smith got another poor launch on the inside of the bottom, and he lost track position to Shellman, almost another spot to Corey Lindsay off the launch, but Miller also, I thought, got by. But here comes Butler. This is the batter for what will be second on the racetrack, second in positions, third on the racetrack with Shellman up there. And it's just Gruenberg's just going to continue to drive away with these 2 battling for this position, Josh. Already 2 seconds, and it's already now 2/10 up on that.
Shellman getting out of the way of Smith. Trying to. Smith goes all the way up the track. Oh, Shellman with a moment.
Still driving that race car, wheeling it on the inside here, entering turn 3, going to slide all the way up now that he is clear of Butler and Smith. See Miller in the background behind him. Shellman 2 laps down in 5th. Miller, who we're looking at now, in 4th, 1 lap down. Hoping there is another caution that flies that isn't him, so he can put his name back on the lead lap list.
Smith is trying everything he can to not let Gruenberg get too far away, but Gruenberg is just continuing to be the fastest car on track as it has been pretty much all race long.
Yeah, he's going to have to hope for a real mistake out of Gruenberg, something we haven't seen out of him this entire race. Something we saw from Acosta early on, Josh, but it might not happen here in these last 21 laps. But Smith is doing a great job driving away from Trevor Butler. He had a 1.5-second gap over Trevor, and now it's only about a second difference between these two. But if they continued to battle like the way they were shaping up there, it would have been completely game over for Smith, as there's an issue ahead. It's Corey Lindsay.
Lindsay was slow, but still going.
This could be the deciding factor of this race if one of these 3 lap cars causes an issue ahead of Gruenberg. Obviously, I would doubt it would be intentionally, but we have seen mistakes tonight with just accidents happening, and Gruenberg, the way he has gapped the field, he could just run up on the back of the pack really quickly here, Josh, as you see Lindsay hop that berm again in turn 1, almost go off the track here in turn 2 with Miller forcing the issue 3 wide down the back straight away, and Lindsay's going to fall off the track.
Meanwhile, that was right ahead of Butler. Lindsay was re-entering the racetrack. Lindsay gathering it back up. And Butler going to have an issue. Lindsay slides into Butler. Gruenberg gets into Lindsay. Caution is out.
Is that Gruenberg or was that Shellman?
Shellman.
Okay, that's what I thought. They have close paint jobs. Or color palette, I should say.
Did I say Gruenberg?
Yeah. You did say Gruenberg.
Oh. It's definitely Shellman.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, I see Shellman nowhere to go at all, and just the contact there. Look at Lindsay just drive right off it. It was really not really a harmless incident, Josh, but it was just really overdriving into turn 3 there, and I'd like to see another look at it, maybe from another angle, but that's just racing here in these last 20 laps at a dirt track. Maybe a little bit over-aggressive with the difference of these two being on different laps, but yeah, really nothing Lindsay could do there. Butler just lost it there going to turn 3. Josh hit the berm and trying to drive away from Lindsay, in no position there, but whoa. Something going on pit road there, Josh.
So, 4 drivers on track, 4 drivers on the lead lap. Pace truck is in. Gruenberg taking the outside, only driver on the outside. And green flag is back out.
Yeah, that caution flying is what James Miller wanted to have happen, so he's back in the mix. Only these 4 cars are left, Josh, and this is going to be the battle for the last spot on the podium. Butler and Miller, they were battling a few laps earlier, and with the way that Gruenberg has just dominated this race, this could be the only position left up for grabs, as Miller not going to be able to keep the position there on the inside.
Butler maintains third. He is losing time to Smith. Smith losing time to Gruenberg. I think you said it earlier. It's going to take a mistake out of somebody. Gruenberg, mostly, for Smith to win this race. Smith actually losing some time to Butler.
Yeah, this battle for second, really interesting. One lap Smith is better, one lap Butler's better. Smith obviously with a not great launch on the inside of the bottom. Butler was trying to take advantage of it. Had wheel spin himself, but still a little bit better off the launch. Only thing is he had to fight Miller for that position, and after that he had to regroup a little bit and hasn't been able to recatch Smith since, fending off Miller for that position. And there you see just the rear end step out there for Brady Smith a little bit down the back straightaway. Entering turn 3, he's got 2 and change from that car right there for the race lead and the win of this race here at Lernerville, Josh.
There is just no catching Gruenberg. Gruenberg is in a different zip code. Because of the draw, Gruenberg started mid-pack, right on the drop of the green flag. Found a way to get through everybody. Start chasing down pole sitter Carlos Acosta. Mistake out of Carlos. Anna Gruenberg the lead, and Gruenberg has not looked back. Gruenberg actually almost having the entire field a lap down before caution coming out. And, you know, as they say, caution's precautions. We've had a couple more since then to allow Butler and Miller to get back on the lead lap. But it is just a domination out of Gruenberg. As we have a car stopped on track. Stopped off track.
James Miller, see him just going for a little Sunday drive off here. Gonna re-enter the track. Not sure what happened. He's gonna make a harsh re-entry on the track as we cut to the replay graphic. Oh, he flipped over end, nose over tail, side over side at the very end, but we stay green, and Josh Gruenberg's getting ready to take the white flag here.
The white flag is waving. Gruenberg, he can pull off to the side, catch a movie, go on a date, get back going, and still have the race lead. Checkered flag waving. Gruenberg wins it. Smith.
Close battle for second at the line. Yeah, Josh Smith is going to hold him off.
Oh my!
And he is off the property. He is done. Done with Lernerville. See you next week, says Brady Smith. Second place. But Matt Gruenberg's going to stick around and pull up to victory lane, Josh.
And he's going to back it in there. Well, that was something.
Yeah, it was a good run for Trevor Butler there at the very end to make a swipe at Brady Smith for second place in that final corner. He really had a good run, but it just wasn't enough. But what a night for this guy. You talked about it, Josh. Matt Gruenberg, domination, almost had the entire field in the rear at one point, down an entire lap, but didn't matter. Like you mentioned, at the time of those cautions, he was still so good at the end.
And yeah, Matt Grunberg taking the win. 5.6 seconds ahead of Brady Smith. Trevor Butler bringing it home third. 2 laps down, fourth, James Miller. Corey Shellman in fifth, 19 laps down. Corey Lindsay, 21 laps down. Race Clark, 55 laps down. Justin Gold, 60 laps down. Brett Miller, 89 laps down. Dallas Myhan, 90 laps down. Carlos Acosta, 96. Nathan Young, 100. And not making a start was Jordan McEvoy. Of course, Nathan Young.
Yeah, it looks like Nathan Young was kicked out of the session, Josh, and disqualified from the event after putting out that caution flag very late in the event. And I mentioned I saw him just kind of disappear there down the back straightaway, and he just immediately said out on the ticker, and that's what it appears looks like what's happened, Josh.
So with that being said, let's see if we can get a word with our third place finisher. Hey, Trevor, third place finish tonight. It was pretty close between you and Brady at the end, but just this race overall, it was quite the interesting race. Walk us through how your 12 machine did.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting. I'm surprised I honestly finished in third. Not how I expected the race to go. Well, I guess it is how I expected it to go, but not for me. I was not expecting to finish third, so. But overall, yeah, it's a good race. I couldn't really catch up to Brady there. I mean, he had speed. I couldn't get to him. Every time I get to him, I'd have to downshift, and it just lost power. But overall, it was fun. First time being on Lerner, so it was definitely interesting.
So these cars on the dirt track or on dirt, I don't know how much dirt you really do, but how much of a challenge was it to really learn this car on dirt?
It wasn't that hard to learn. It's really a one-lane car. I'd say it's more of the car. I'm pretty sure if other cars race on here, you'd probably make more in one lane, but that top lane was just the fastest lane. You couldn't really pass low unless, I guess if you knew how to get by them. But the car itself, yeah, it's not meant for dirt. That's obvious. And just the speed coming off, you didn't have enough, it almost seemed like. And I've only raced street stock, so comparing that to street stock, so it's definitely a big difference.
Well, who would you like to take? Who gets an on for the 12 machine?
It was same people as last week. All my friends, family, our team, Prestige, y'all. It's a fun race, fun times.
All right, well, congrats on the third, and
Appreciate it.
we'll see you next week.
We'll see you.
And that was Trevor Butler, third place finisher. Adam, I do not believe we have Brady Smith on hand, so why don't you bring in our race winner, Matt Gruenberg?
All right. Down here in Victory Lane, Matt, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, pretty dominant race here tonight out of that 54-86 machine. Start off at the beginning. you didn't have a great draw off the grid. What was your opinion there on the start, just trying to drive up through the field? You made pretty good work of it, and it was pretty fun to watch from up here in the booth.
Yeah, I saw, sixth place. I was going to be starting on the outside, which I thought was going to be pretty good since top lane was going to be the faster lane all night. And I was just able to part the sea there, I guess, on the opening laps, and was able to get up to second there. And then I was kind of tracking down Carlos, and I ended up going over the edge there in turn 3 and 4, and never looked back from there.
You mentioned Carlos going off the track over the boom and going for a little bit of ride. We saw that a lot tonight with a lot of different drivers. You were so consistent tonight, just able to keep it within the ballpark literally and not make a huge mistake and just be so fast. What was it like out there with the track conditions to suit you?
Yeah, I think you really didn't even have to get up there on the cushion. You could have ran just a half a car length lower than the cushion, and that would have kept the car on the track all night, and that's what worked out for me. And I think that's honestly where the fastest lane was, just kind of right there where the transition was in the banking, just putting the right sides on the transition, and just keeping the left sides on the flatter part. And the car seemed to really hook up well there. If you got up higher on the track, it seemed like the car got really tight, and I can see why some of them were having troubles staying on the track or going over. I did go up there a few times, and I noticed that the car did get really tight up there.
Well, at one point in the race, you had almost lapped the entire field out of everyone that was left. Was that something you were shooting for once it became available? And what was the thinking, the feeling when the caution came out eventually, and eventually a few more came, and you had to keep doing it over and over again?
Yeah, I was once I got a pretty good gap on second place there, and I started lapping a few drivers. I just hit my marks, and whatever happened happened. If I was able to lap the entire field, that would have been pretty cool, I think. But the cautions came out and ultimately put an end to that. But yeah, I mean, we had the speed. Just the cautions, I think, hurt the chances of that happening.
Well, it was still a dominant victory. Who gets it done for you to get here in victory lane tonight at Lernerville Speedway?
Just all the fans, you guys in the broadcast, and Corey putting this league on. Wouldn't be here without any of you guys, for sure. And all the other drivers out there competing, putting on an interesting show for everyone that's tuning in.
All right, thank you for your time, Matt. Good luck next week at Tsukuba. A lot different, obviously, than what we saw tonight.
Yep, thank you.
Josh, that was tonight's race winner, Matt Grunberg, of course, on the 54 machine. Winner of round number 2 for the 3-Rock Series this season.
Yeah, such an absolutely dominating performance out of Gruenberg. Congrats to him on the win. So, I do want to clear something up, and I didn't even think about this. I was reading the rules.
I'm glad you were bringing this up. I was about to get to this when you threw it to me there.
Yeah, so I was reading the rules a little bit, and I didn't even think about it. So Carlos cleared up what happened. There is a 6-11 rule, and what that means is some tracks, if you are 6 laps down, you're parked. After that, other tracks, if you're 11 laps down, you're parked after that. So the reasoning for he didn't get as far in that jump, but the reasoning for the parking of Nathan was because he re-entered the track after being more than 11 laps down, as the rule at this track is 11 laps down. So Nathan will keep his position and his points from before the DQ. So he is scored with. I don't. Eighth. Thank you. He is scored with an 8th place finish. Um, So thank you, Carlos, for clearing that up. And so yeah,
Yeah,
Adam.
Josh. Real quick, when you threw it to me there, I was getting ready to make a whole joke about how we don't know where Brady Smith is. I think we just lost in the forest, can't get a word from him, and I was going to send it back to you to do the interview with Matt, but instead you fed me into victory lane. But like you mentioned, unable to get with Brady Smith, second place run, and I just want to make another joke about that ramp there because you're right. Grunberg did not get nearly as far as Smith did.
Well, I think Grunberg wanted to see if he could go find Smith, make sure he was all right. Um,
What a
but
good friend.
yeah, I mean, it's what competitors do. Um, so yeah, next week is the first road course, being Tsukuba. Um, that'll really show, I mean, what this car's bread and butter is. This car is a road course car, mainly, and I'm kind of
Josh,
excited. Yeah.
Josh,
What?
let's slow up the schedule real quick before we go off air. I know Tsukuba is a road course, but Josh, it's like a mile long. It's not a natural road course. I mean, technically it is a natural road course, but Josh, it's a tiny road course. It's gonna be chaos out there.
Well,
Yeah, it's a road race with road cars, but it's gonna be like a go-kart race.
well, yes, but um, my point is, into saying that, is drivers are still going to have to be making right turns. You see the schedule here. So last week was Auto Club. Tonight, Lernerville. Tsukuba next. These are three different styles of racetracks. So we saw, the 2 mile Speedway from Auto Club. We got Taste of Dirt tonight. We're going to get a taste of road course next week. I'm really excited to see, who's going to be up front with the road courses. Right now, honestly, Trevor Butler, two great finishes in a row with Auto Club and Lernerville. How is Butler going to do on the road course in Tsukuba next week?
Big question mark, but one would have to assume he would be a favorite, like you mentioned, with his strong performance the first 2 weeks going into there. We mentioned completely different types of racetracks these first couple of weeks, and really moving on forward, all of them are really completely unique racetracks. Looking a little bit ahead, South Boston, that's a straight up bowling there. USA Dirt, another dirt track, but Josh, nothing like what we saw tonight. They have walls at USA Speedway, and it's not tiny either. It's a mile track, so it's gonna be a totally different dirt show there in Richmond Raceway. 347 mile. That is gonna be kind of I think that's going to be one of the most craziest races out of these six. I think it might be a little bit of a mix of what we see at South Boston in a couple of weeks and what we saw at Auto Club last week, I should say. It's going to be just might be in the sweet spot in terms of the track layout for these things.
I'm pretty excited for next week and how these cars will do um, at Scuba, and then continuing on down the line from the or through the rest of the schedule. I think this is a pretty fun schedule, and it's definitely, I mean, really testing out the waters and what these drivers can do. Um, so I'm excited to see this series continue out throughout the next few weeks, and what's going to happen at Tsukuba.
It's going to be a real interesting show.
So this Thursday, the SAAC Coast to Coast Cup Series is on a bye week for Thanksgiving, and we wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. Stay safe. If you're traveling, if you're doing any Black Friday shopping, stay safe then too. Um, I know very well how crazy and wild that can be. So stay safe over the holiday and weekends, or weekend rather, any shopping, and spend time with family. Let them know how thankful you are for them. So yeah, I mean, this is our only event this week. Next week, of course, Tsukuba, and then the SAAC Coast Cup Series returns from their bye week and continue on with their chase. Um, it's always a fun series to broadcast as well. And so we still have plenty of content coming up. Just this week, a little bit slim with Thanksgiving here. So I think that's going to do it from us here tonight. Big shout out to these drivers for putting on a good show. The admins, fans watching, all the outstanding work behind the scenes at JCTV and the crew there. And on behalf of Adam Kuhn, I'm Joshua Coppernoll, signing off, saying so long, and we will see you next week.